Good afternoon, class. This is your peer, Micaiah Jackson, for assignment 8, Religion 100, the Quarrel, with Hirsch, the rabbi, and Chime, the agnostic. And before we start this off, if some of you didn't pick on real fast, it is about two Jewish brothers that grew up together, practiced their faith together and their lifestyle together up to the reign of Nazi Germany and disappeared right before it, and were in the same camp apparently from what they were talking about, and gone their separate ways. So let's start with the genocide of the Jews of Nazi Germany from what I got from the beginning of it. There was anger, there was confusion, there was guilt, and humiliation. Chaim, he felt humiliation, anger, confusion, guilt, and the rabbi, he didn't seem confused. He did have some humiliation, and there was some guilt to him, but there wasn't anger in him. So this takes us to discussion 1, when Chaim talks about his family being murdered and orphans being killed and just the rage he was feeling because of Nazi Germany. But Rabbi goes on and it clarifies, Nazi Germany wasn't created by God. God didn't create this. He says man created Auschwitz, not God. It was man with the Nazis and Hitler that did this to the Jews. But Chaim, being agnostic, is questioning himself on how good would let all that evil happen to the people he loves. And Rabbi is trying to explain it wasn't God that did this. It was the people who have the will and the choice to do that. And in each discussion, it gets further and further more. And there's a lot I agree with Rabbi on, just with me being a Christian. A lot of the evil that has happened in this world and to this day, it's not God doing it. It's man that creates it, and it's man that allows it. And what Rabbi's trying to get at is to be godly people and to have our faith in God. That's how you help man out. But with Chaim, he thinks it's all one human reason. He thinks that humans should out to be good people and humans should be able to do everything. But Rabbi's trying to get that you can't do that unless without God, with his purpose. So this leads us to discussion 2, where they're talking about forgiveness. That was the biggest picture I figured out, was forgiveness. And Chaim was reflecting on God lying. He's trying to say, God lied to us. How can we have forgiveness? Look what Hitler did to us. Going into the concentration camps, orphans being killed, peaceful people being killed. And just saying how he went off on betraying each other and God punished the Jews. But the rabbi was trying to say the Jews weren't being punished. But you have to learn to forgive and to heal and to move on with your life. Then this leads to discussion 3 about how Rabbi is speaking about how life is as a work of art. What you do in life is an art. How you portray yourself, what you do for a living. How do you turn yourself around from a traumatic event? And he was saying, he was comparing it to art photos, how you paint an art photo, but look at what you're doing with yourself, and it's art. You're learning, you're growing, and from that traumatic experience in the concentration camps in Nazi Germany, they were able to create their own art from it and move on. How Hirsch became a religious rabbi talking about God and his faith and finding peace and faithfulness, and Chime became more of a writer into and looking into human reason and why humans should be the good people and they don't need God's reasoning to do good things. Which discussion 4 was a pretty big one too. So Rabbi starts breaking down reason. Why are the reasons happening? But Chime, what he sees the potential for good out of humans. But you need the reasoning for that. Because Rabbi's saying, since the beginning of time, the world is cruel and empty because God is at a higher universe, and you can't trust every human because humans are just not going to do good because they don't believe in a God or the God that the rabbi's believing in. And he's trying to pull back Shime into this reason of why you need to have faith in God to find this peace, because you can see throughout the clips in the movie that Shime's he's a great man. He's just trying to figure out the pain. He's trying to figure out the reasoning and put everything together. Why did this happen to the Jews? Why did this happen to us? Why were my wife and my kids murdered? Why were we put in concentration camps? But, then one of the biggest points was saying, one of the biggest things Chime had for arguing on human behavior and reasoning was that he said he was saved by an atheist. And that's his reason for human behavior. He says people who don't believe in God can still do good. So he said, why do I need to have a God then if an atheist who did good and helped me escaped from the Nazis? And that goes back to Shime questioning his faith on God and human beings must help each other. But Chime is saying that since the world's a cruel place and it's full of darkness, that's just not possible. And people can still be good people even if they don't believe in God. But God had a purpose in all of this to save you and to have an atheist save you. Because, even though Shime sees the potential for good, the rabbi sees the potential of evil. That's why he distanced himself from people when he watches everything, because yes, he's a good guy, but since he practices good and goodness and look for a better cause, he's paying attention to potential evil, like what could happen out of this, with Nazi Germany and going to the concentration camps. But Shimes is trying to say he's looking for potential for good. So it's a mix of 50-50 with them. And their discussion 5, it gets up into, they both bring up the chosen people, referring to the Jews. Shime talks about, why would God abandon us? We're the chosen people. Why would he let us suffer like this? Why would he kill us? And that's when Rabbi comes in. He says, listen, we keep the Torah. We're the chosen people for a reason. We keep our faith. We trust in God. And he brings up, it was a miserable time when the Nazis had power and they were murdering Jews and everything. But God took care of us. They had World War II happened. The concentration camps end. Nazi Germany no longer exists. It was a moment in history of a dark time. And we saw the potential of bad and we saw the potential of good. Other countries got involved. The Jews are back and living their life. And it's just a big quarrel against, Rabbi trying to say, have faith in God. I see your anger. I see your pain. I see why you don't understand, why this would happen. But you have to understand, this is life. This has been happening for centuries. And it's not that Shime's agnostic doesn't mean you're an atheist. You just don't know what's out there. You're stuck in this middle of what's really out there. Is there a higher power? But it relates to me too. I really relate with Rabbi a lot, but I really do understand where Shime's coming at when you're coming from a traumatic event like that. Having your faith in God, humiliation, the confusion of like why Nazi Germany happened, the guilt the Rabbi has when he split up with Shime during a small disagreement when Shime asked him to come help him, and he told him, I don't. I need to stay here. There was a bitterness because Rabbi kind of pushed him out of the church because Shime was going a certain way in which he saw as potential for evil until they met up after the war. That's why they have this quarrel going on. But it's just a great talk, and that's why Rabbi feels guilt. Because he abandoned his friend. He sees his friend struggling. He's trying to make peace with them. He loves them. He's trying to talk about the faithfulness of God and the peace and seeing the world as it's evil. He's trying to say the world is evil. He's not saying all people are evil, but Shime's trying to say he sees the potential for good for human reasoning. But Rabbi doesn't see that. It was a very great discussion, and reflecting on their life throughout Nazi Germany, really questioning like, what does God really have to do with this? But Rabbi's biggest thing that God didn't have anything to do with this. It was people that started this. But Shime was trying to say, he's not saying that God had something to do with it, but his biggest moment was, why did God abandon us? Why wasn't God there? But God was there. It was just a dark time. And Rabbi's just saying, humans did this. It was man that created this pain. When you accept that man did this, because God does no bad. God does not harm. God is good. God does good for you. It was man that went against God, and it went against the world and created the evilness of Nazism. And that just brings up me. I'm very big on God. I see that people do have the potential for evil. But the thing is, people also have the potential to do good and have faith in God, but still have faith in human kindness and human empathy, where humans do good. Like right there, if God didn't exist, why would the atheist not want to help out Jewish people? She saw that the Nazis were evil. They were in an evil place, and an atheist who didn't even believe in God went to go save someone who was a godly person who believed in God. That's what the Rabbi's really trying to get at, and that's what I see. And just a very great movie and just a very great discussion. But I hope you guys enjoyed this and what I got from this discussion and what I was seeing. Thank you.